This episode of Ultimate Battles is another popular fantasy debate, one in which both combatants are regularly lowballed. Let's analyze the Duel of Sorcerers. For those of you who aren't familiar with Harry Potter, Voldemort was a dark wizard who became more powerful than any before him. He was a master of potion craft, mental magic, and sorcerer's combat, and along with Gellert Grindelwald was the only one capable of going toe-to-toe with Dumbledore. Voldemort's duel with Dumbledore in Order of the Phoenix showed us what he does in character when faced with an opponent of his level. We see him spam the Killing Curse for sure. Side note, there is an observed limit to what the Killing Curse can actually do. A living statue was totally immune to Avada Kedavra to the point where it ricocheted off. That proved true against both Voldemort and Bellatrix. Giants and dragons are also highly resistant to magic due to their physical armor. It seems that anything with the durability of metal or higher can shrug off Avada Kedavra. Back to feats. Voldy generates a magical shield to cover his torso, spams the Killing Curse again and again, and does manage to destroy a statue this time. However, this one was already quite damaged, keeping Avada Kedavra consistent. Voldemort also incorporates some transfiguration into his combat strategy. When Dumbledore wraps him in a flaming whip, Voldy transforms it into a snake to fight alongside him. He doesn't, interestingly enough, target his opponent with transfiguration, here or anywhere else in the series. It just isn't how he fights, period. He does use teleportation to dodge ranged attacks, although it's far from infallible. Dumbledore did catch him with that fire whip after all, but the two are more or less comparable when it came to speed. Speaking of speed, how fast is Tom Riddle? He's superior to Harry Potter for most of the series, who can react to objects while flying in a firebolt broom. According to the Prisoner of Azkaban, firebolts can fly at 150 miles an hour. Low subsonic combat speed isn't bad at all. We know less about the Witch King's origin in Middle-earth, only that he was a king and sorcerer corrupted to Sauron's service. His original abilities were greatly enhanced by his Ring of Power, and he became the leader of the Nazgul. Implicit with the status of Ringwraith are the added powers of terror manipulation, telekinesis, immortality, invisibility, perception of invisible beings, extrasensory perception, superhuman strength, and immunity to non-magical weapons. Their weapons can convert wounded enemies into Wraith servants, and being in proximity with a Ringwraith causes one to fall subject to the Black Breath, which is essentially a paralyzing supernatural plague. Wraiths also only truly exist in the unseen realm beyond regular matter, which is why they can only be injured by divine beings like elves or Maiar, or weapons or processes enhanced by such. Nazgulian regeneration is sufficient to recover from a flood controlled by Elrond and Gandalf, and they couldn't permanently die until the One Ring was destroyed. That's a regular Ringwraith. The Witch King possessed all of those powers in greater measure. He magically propelled Grond to destroy the Great Gate of Minas Tirith, a mass of iron and steel at least 50 feet high. The appendices mention that the Witch King could control the weather, showing vast magical range and power. And here's something many people don't realize. He actually used fire himself rather than being crippled by his presence. He lit his sword on fire in the movies and books. It's also worth mentioning that it's well within character for Ringwraiths to fight while invisible and fully intangible. This is further discussed in the Unfinished Tales. Now that we know his abilities, we need to figure out to what level he could use them. What was his attack power? How much damage could he take? And could he avoid being blitzed by Voldemort's teleportation spell spam? Here's some scaling for you. The Witch King and 6 other Nazgul battled Gandalf the Grey on Weathertop. They were approximately even, and the effects of their fight were so explosively powerful that Frodo, 40 miles away, nearly confused the flames for sunrise. Gandalf later took hits from and killed a Balrog of Morgoth. In the Silmarillion, Balrogs destroyed Beleriand and sank it into the ocean. For reference, that's an area as large as all of Middle-earth. I'm sure that a Balrog would destroy the Witch King as a Maia, but they are somewhat comparable, like a Tyrannosaurus and a Velociraptor. Their speed also scales, resulting in at least supersonic to high hypersonic combat and reactions for the Lord of the Nazgul. Look up the March of the Balrogs calculation for reference. That seems insurmountable from Voldemort's point of view. Not only is he dozens of times slower than his enemy, his go-to spells are all but useless. Avada Kedavra is way out of its depth here. For one, the Witch King is undead. His durability is also orders of magnitude past the threshold where the Killing Curse or other damaging spells are effective. Transfiguration is also unlikely to be of use. In 1998, J.K. Rowling stated that it alters the molecular structure, meaning that there has to be a valid molecular target. Intangibility can be a nasty one, man. 90 to 10.